So it's late September here in Norway. I'm enjoying some midday sun, and I wanted to talk today about why there is no vitamin D in the sunlight in certain locations of the earth for the winter half of the year. And I also want to touch upon what you can do about it. Why is there no vitamin D in the sunlight in the winter? Depending on your location. The further north you are or the further south you are, basically the further you are from the equator, the worse it's going to be, the less possible it's going to be to have vitamin D during winter. And there's going to be a longer period during winter where there is no vitamin D, also known as the vitamin D winter. The reason for that is because vitamin D is actually produced in our bodies. First of all, we get exposed to sunlight, and there are certain wavelengths of sun radiation that when they hit our skin uses that energy to convert certain chemicals into other chemicals, which goes into the liver and then gets converted to vitamin D. Okay, so there's actually no vitamin D in the sun itself, in the sunlight, but the sunlight stimulates vitamin D production in the body. Now, it's very important that there are these particular wavelengths, because the visible light, the sunlight, has a range, a spectrum of wavelength that it gives out. And there are just a particular spectrum of those that actually do produce vitamin D, and they're known as the UVB rays. And what happens is, during winter or early in the morning in summer, depending on your location again, depending on the angle of the sun, some of those rays might actually be filtered out when they go through the atmosphere. So if you're in the tropics and the sun is straight up 90 degrees right above you, that's the strongest the sun can ever be. You're at the equator, right? Whereas in the morning, even at the equator, when the sun is just above the horizon, the angle of the sun is just like 10 degrees, whereas that is 90 degrees. Well, then the angle of the sun means that the sun rays has to travel through the atmosphere on a sort of horizontal fashion, which means that they have to go through more atmosphere, basically, and that filters out the radiation that causes vitamin D production. Okay, so now you can understand how during winter, when we're in the north, like here in Norway, far away from the sun, that's the midday sun right there. And during winter, like midwinter, it's even half of that. So you can imagine how that angle is basically so low that those rays will not be able to come through properly, even at midday. Alright, so there's a range here, right? The higher up, the more vitamin D production, the stronger the sun is, and the more you're going to get burned as well. The further down, the further away, the less production you will get. And then, depending on your specific location and the specific time of the year and the specific time of the day, there will be varying degrees of vitamin D production. Okay, so you have to sort of look into this for your own location. But here in Norway, for example, there's likely no vitamin D stimulating sun rays between September, early September even, maybe end of September, like right now, until about March, something like that. So there's a long period with no vitamin D, and there's also these short periods on either end of the summer where there is vitamin D production, but only if you get the sun during midday, and you have to sit there longer and expose more of your skin to the sun, and it's nothing in the morning, in the afternoon. Alright, so that's how it works. Now, what to do about it? If you're in a place where the sun isn't strong enough during the winter, what should you do about it? Because you don't want to go deficient in vitamin D. It's very important. It's a very important nutrient, like all nutrients. You do not want to get deficient. So you really have three options. The best options is to get out of there. It's not healthy to live in such an environment. It's better to go somewhere tropical, somewhere where you can get vitamin D during the winter as well. At least go for a period of the winter, so you can run on your reserves for a certain amount of time, and then you get out of there, you stock up on vitamin D, you spend a few months maybe during midwinter in the sun. That would be ideal. If you are planning on staying home, or just staying home at least most of the winter, you need to do one of two things. Either you need to supplement with vitamin D tablets, or you do sunbed sessions. So basically that's the choice is up to yours. Neither of them are optimal. The sun is the only true optimal source of vitamin D. If you want to supplement, you have to look into that. There are a lot of bad supplements out there. There are a lot of supplements that don't work, and then you have to get the dosage just right and that sort of thing. So I would go to my doctor, I would get some testing done, check my levels, and then I would do a lot of research online. I haven't personally ever supplemented vitamin D. I haven't needed it because I travel during the winter. But look into that if that's an option for you. The other option is to go and take sunbed sessions, which is like exposing yourself to sun, but in an artificial environment. But the radiation is nevertheless the same. That being said, though, most sunbeds, I think, do not have UVB radiation. They only have UVA radiation, which will not stimulate vitamin D production. So you've got to make sure it's UVB rays as well as the UVA rays in the sunbed you're using. How often? How strong? I don't know. Once a week? A couple of times a week? Once every 2 weeks? I don't know, something like that. I would encourage you to do the experiment, do it, see, take blood tests before, take a blood test halfway through winter, take blood tests at the end of winter, and see how your levels are, and report back to me, because I'm super interested in this topic. I would love to hear your results. If it works, if it doesn't work, it should work theoretically. And personally, I don't believe there's anything cancer-causing or bad about sunbeds, no more than there is anything cancer-causing or bad about sun. But of course, if you expose yourself to too much sun, yes, you will get burned. And that is not good. That can be cancer-causing. Same with the sunbed. So you don't want to get burned. You don't want to overdo it. Just moderate amounts of exposure over time, slowly but surely building up your tolerance, that sort of thing. That's what you want to do. Even though you're not getting vitamin D from the sun, it's still worth, exposing yourself to sunlight, because it regulates hormones, it makes us feel good, and it's just, everything is nice when it's sunny, right? Even in the winter. So do expose yourself to sunlight and look into those strategies for supplementing or taking sunbeds during the winter, or best case scenario, go traveling somewhere. Or you could do a little bit of all of them. Hope that helped you out a little bit, explained a little bit about how the sun works in terms of vitamin D and what to do during the winter. I'm here if you want to contact me, have any questions about anything. You can send me an email through our website, sweetnaturalliving.com, where we also offer health coaching via Skype, and we also have a few ebooks on health, fruit, eating a raw vegan diet, and that sort of thing. We also actually have a book about traveling, which is quite relevant in this particular topic, how to go traveling for health, for fruit, anywhere in the world, particularly tropical regions. So if you're looking into maybe this winter getting out of wherever you're at and going traveling, you might want to check out that book. Hope you're having an awesome day. I certainly am. Thanks for watching, and see you around.